All right, for those of you that were not in class on Monday, I'm going to go over the review. You can use the review to follow along with these videos, and this will kind of tell you what to expect on the test. The test is very similar to the review I'm going over. In fact, the same types of questions will appear on the test that you see on this video. First, we have this question: identify and draw the three undefined terms of geometry. So, a couple of things to point out. Two things were being asked: identify and draw. So for each of these three, we're going to write some name, some term, and then draw a picture of that thing. The three undefined terms of geometry are point, line, and plane. And then to draw them, the key features that I'm looking for here are going to be: for points, you have a dot and you have it labeled with some letter, like that one, point C. For lines, you're going to have a line with 2 points labeled with letters. Again, key features are: you have arrows on either end, you have points drawn for each, and they're labeled. Lastly, with planes, looking for something like this. We're looking for that parallelogram picture with some letter labeling that plane in the corner. This is not a point, this is a label, so do not draw a point next to that M. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about plane M as labeled with just that letter in the corner. This right here that you see on the screen is literally the thing that you need to know and you will be putting on the test. The questions on the test are exactly the same as what you see here. This is what you need to study and know. All right. Looking at these next 4 questions, we're just going to run through the solutions for these. Your questions on the test are going to be very similar to this, but in general, you're just drawing a diagram to represent what you see or what's described in the text. So for number 4, you've got 2 lines, line XY, and you've got line AB. They're intersecting at point M. So we have these 2 lines, and the place they intersect is called point M. And then from there, we're just going to draw in the fact that these are all lines, and that the name of those lines need to be shown by marking the points that make them up. So we're going to draw these 4 points. One of the lines is line XY, and the other line is line AB. So your answer should look something like that. The key features here on all this stuff is that your arrow ends or your points are all drawn and labeled correctly. Looking at number 5, PQR is a right angle. So to show that something's a right angle, the thing you need to know for sure is that you're going to draw a box in the corner to show that that is a right angle. That's a key feature. If you don't have that, you will not be getting this question right. You must show that it is a right angle. All right. Then from there, we're going to label the points. Point Q must be here. The reason point Q must be at the vertex is because that's what the name of the angle tells me. It tells me that Q is the vertex. So it's PQR, the way it's drawn here. P and R could be swapped, but Q must be the vertex of that. All right, next, let's look at number 6. We have a plane EFG, and it contains ray ST. This is a ray. This is from your notes. This symbol means a ray, which tells me that this has one end where there's an arrow and the other end that does not continue on like you see in the previous 2. So for this to be plane EFG, the first thing I need to draw the fact that I have 3 points, E, F, and G. That much I know for sure. Those points could be anywhere as long as they're not in a straight line together. Then ray ST could be anywhere that we choose. I'm going to just make it like this. ST means the S is on that point and the T is in the direction that the arrow is pointing. Your answer could look something like this. The key features are: you've got these points. You've got 3 points, E, F, and G, that are sort of in this plane on their own. And then you've got ST, where S is the beginning of the ray and it goes towards T, where there's an arrow indicating that it's a ray. Looking at number 7, we have another ray, KL, intersects CD at point K? Well, let's try and draw ray KL. So we'll make this point K, and we'll make this point L. So if this other thing is going to intersect point K, then I know that CD goes across through point K, and it is a line segment. That's what that notation tells me. The fact that there are no arrows on this tells me that this is a line segment, and it has endpoints C and D. And so that is what your answer should look something like for number 7. You're actually going to skip number 8. So I made a mistake in that problem. You're not responsible for that on the test. At the bottom of the page, you're just doing another angle like you did in number 5, except this time it needs to be an obtuse angle, and it needs to be angle DEF. Remember the E is the vertex, so make sure the vertex is labeled as point E. I'll let you finish that one on your own. All right, looking at the next section, you've got the segment addition statement. You need to do 2 things in these problems. You're going to first write the statement for that relationship, and then second, you're going to write the answer that you get in terms of the number answer. So what I mean by that, I'll demonstrate on this first problem. We have PQ, we have QR. Those are being added together. That's this segment marked A with an 8, and that's this other segment marked with a 3. Those are the 2 smaller segments. Together they add up to make PR. So your statements always look like that. You have one of the smaller parts, the other smaller part, adding up to the larger, longer length, in this case PR. And then specifically with this second part of the problem, so this is part 1, part 2, you're going to write the actual numerical value. In this case, 8 plus 3 is 11, and that would be your answer for the problem there. Moving down, similar idea, you still are going to write the relationship. The relationship here is xy plus yz is equal to xz. The idea here is I'm writing that this plus this equals the total. That's just the statement. Then I do the mathematical part. In this case, because 88 is the total, I'm going to do 88 minus 51, which is 37, and that is what I'm putting here. 37 is the length for YZ. So notice how no matter what, in the first part of the problem, you're writing the statement just part plus part equals whole, and then in the second part, you're just doing whatever the math tells you to do. There's one more problem at the bottom of the page that you can go ahead and do on your own.